What up guys? I know it took me a while, but I am back today with a bang. I decided to do a matte electric blue smoky eye, and guess what? It's all motherfucking Drugstore. First, I'm starting by priming my eyes with my I Heart Stage eyeshadow base by Essence Cosmetics, and I'm going to be blending it out with a Real Techniques brush. I'm also running it along my bottom lash line. I hope you guys enjoy the super zoomed in situation I got going on here. I figure it's a lot easier to see what I'm doing when I'm super zoomed in. Let me know how you feel about it. Next, I'm taking a bit of my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, and I'm applying it just below my brow hairs to brighten up that area, and I'm just blending it out with a... I forget what brush this is. I'll have all the brushes listed in the description box below. I'm then setting that area with a matte white Jordana eyeshadow, and it's called White Lie. When I do really intense smoky eyes, I like the brow bone area to be super crisp and clean, and I kind of dig the matte white eyeshadow look. Next, I'm taking this Jordana eyeshadow in the shade Creamy Vanilla, and I'm just dusting it all over my lid as a base so that the following eyeshadows blend seamlessly. I'm going to be building up quite a few shades in my crease. So I'm going to start building up my crease using the shade Natural Taupe by Jordana. This is actually a brow powder, but it works perfectly for the eyelids. I'm working that into my crease, and since this is the lightest shade in my gradient, I want it to be super blown out. So even if you reach just below your brow bone, that's cool. Keep going. Next, I'm taking the L'Oreal True Match powder in C7 Nut Brown, and I'm building on that crease area. This shade is very warm, and I think it complements electric blue perfectly. You'll notice that each time I switch out my eyeshadows, my brush head gets smaller and smaller, and this is very important when you're building a gradient in your crease, because the brush head is what allows each shade that I'm placing into the crease to be visible and not get lost. I still want the previous shade to be visible, if that makes sense. Just a tip. So next, I'm taking your Majesty by Jordana, and with a smaller brush, I'm layering it into my crease. This is the second deepest shade, so I'm being a little bit more precise with it, and I'm not blowing it out as much. I'm also pulling the shade right into the front and outer corners of my eyes because the brush is so precise and allows for it. We're almost creating sort of like a halo effect. Next, I'm taking Black Panther by Wet n Wild with a Real Techniques brush, and I'm very lightly going over that same crease area as well as my inner and outer corners. This is going to be the deepest shade in our gradient. Moving on to the center of the lid, I'm starting by placing a little bit of my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk to the center of my eye, and I'm going to be blending that out. This is not only going to act as a really sticky base for the colorful eyeshadow, but it's also going to make that blue eyeshadow pop a bit more. I'm now taking the NYX Primal Eyeshadow in Cobalt Blue, and I'm just really generously packing it into the center of my lid. And to do this, I'm using a super dense, short-haired BH Cosmetics brush. Dense, short brushes allow for the least amount of fallout, especially when you're working with super bright shades. I do want to note, these are not my favorite eyeshadows. I found it took quite a bit of work to get the intensity that I was looking for, but when it comes to the drugstore, this is the brightest blue I was able to find. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going in with a bit more black eyeshadow to deepen up that crease so I don't lose sort of that round definition. And then, surprise, surprise, I'm going in with a bit more blue eyeshadow because I'm crazy. For my winged eyeliner, this is where I kind of fucked up and I should have just stuck with my usual technique. I was really missing the Maybelline gel eyeliner because it's super dark and matte, so I started out by building up a super dramatic wing with it, and when I realized it wasn't gliding as smoothly as I wanted it to, I ended up finishing it off with my Physicians Formula eyeliner pen. It really saved the day. Whenever I mess up the shape of my wing, by the way, I just go in with a concealer and clean it up. For mascara today, I'm using my Essence I Heart Extreme Mascara, which by the way, if you've never used, you need to. It's amazing. I think I talked about it like a year ago. For eyelashes, I'm using the Koko lashes in Iris. You cannot find these in the drugstore, but a good drugstore alternative are the Salon Perfect lashes in 615, which are exclusively sold at Walmart, and they're almost always sold out. So if you do find them, stock up. Tweet me and notify me that they're back in stock. Thank you. Moving on to the face. For primer today, I'm using the NYX Angel Veil, and boy, did I cake this on. I pretty much based wasted myself in this. And for foundation today, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I believe I'm using the shade Classic Ivory. I'm just gonna buff that into my skin with the Sonia Kashuk Flat Top Kabuki brush. For the under eye, I'm doing a combination of the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the Neutralizer shade and the Maybelline Dream Lumi in Ivory. A little bit of yellow action, a little bit of brightening action, and I'm just blending it out with a damp beauty blender. A good alternative from the drugstore for this blender is the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. To set the under eye, I'm using my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation in the shade Ivory, and then to set the rest of my face, I'm using my beloved Powder Puff with my Covergirl Translucent Setting Powder. I think this is the shade Fair. I'm also going to hit my lower lash line with that L'Oreal True Match powder, and then add a little bit of mascara to my baby lashes. And then with that same L'Oreal powder, I'm just ever so lightly warming up my face, just a little bit, with the e.l.f. Dual Fiber brush. For blush today, I'm using the Covergirl Cheekers blush in the shade Iced Cappuccino. And then for highlight, I decided to use my L'Oreal Infallible Pressed Pigment eyeshadow in the shade Hourglass Beige, and I dusted it over my cheeks with a Real Techniques brush. And look how gorgeous it turned out. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit chunky, but once you blend it out, it's not too bad, and it's a pretty awesome alternative for a drugstore highlight in my opinion. For the lips today, I'm going with a nude liner by NYX, which balances out the dramatic eyes perfectly. Then I'm topping them with this Revlon Just Spit and Kissable Balm Stain in the shade Precious. Do you guys remember when we all went batshit crazy over these a few years back and then completely forgot about them almost immediately after? I have so many of them, and I fell in love with them all over again when I revisited my old drugstore makeup. Alright, that completes this look. I hope you guys loved it. If you did, give this video some love. As usual, all the products that I use will be listed in the description box below. Thank you guys very much for patiently waiting for this video and for subscribing to anyone who is new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!